What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto was neglected and became the leader of the forgotten ANBU division? If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. She brushed back her blue hair gently because the air outside had terribly messed it up. A scene of commotion had greeted her eyes once she stepped foot inside the hospital. The hospital was in dismay. It was truly a scene she hadn't witnessed before. The Konoha hospital she knew was quiet and orderly, and here she was watching nurses and doctors dash back and forth through the room, hoping that they would be able to attend the ninjas that suddenly flocked the hospital. The reason why there were so many ninjas in the hospital today was unknown to her. "Excuse me," the woman manages to catch the attention of a nurse passing by. "What is happening here?" she asked the nurse. Her white orbs showed her curiosity. "I don't know why, but they just started flocking the hospital minutes ago," the nurse said. "How many are there?" the woman asked. "We haven't counted yet, but there may be less than 20 or more than that number," the nurse said. "Thanks, miss," the woman said. The nurse nodded. "Now if you'll excuse me." With that the nurse left. She paused near the reception desk so she would not hinder the tasks of the nurses and the doctors. Why was she here anyway? She was here for she had heard that her friend/ex-teammate arrived with his team and one of them was, well, dead. She clasped her hands in prayer when she recalled the reason why she was there standing. She hoped that her friend was fine. Well, that friend of hers was sitting on a not very cozy chair waiting for a nurse to attend his wounds at his shoulder and his right leg. Yes, he is alive but a little injured. He had a very exasperated expression on his face. He sat there tapping the floor with his right foot continuously, showing that he has grown impatient. His pet dog, which was lying unharmed by his side, raised his head and snorted because of his owner's impatience. The dog then rested his head on the floor and he closed his eyes to achieve some rest. Let's turn back to the injured owner of the dog. His face has suddenly turned pale. Why? It is because a stretcher had just passed him, a stretcher carrying his dead colleague. Sure, they weren't that close, but a teammate is a teammate. Bonds have to be made for each of the members of the team to function properly. He sighed and dropped his head. He smashed his clenched fist at the armrest. He wanted to shout, but instead, he sat there, mumbling, cursing and blaming himself. "Anu, are you all right, sir?" a woman who he knew said to him. He raised his head and he saw the raven-haired girl, smiling warmly at her. She had fresh bandages in her hand and an ointment at the other. "Obviously, I'm not fine. As you can see, miss, my left shoulder is wounded as well as my right leg, and it hurts terribly," he said. "And may I ask, what is ANBU member doing here? Holding fresh bandages and ointment? Shouldn't be an ANBU member helping the others in their squad?" he asked. "Well, sir, the ANBU member standing in front of you has heard that her friend's team has come back and one of them is dead." She kneeled down and started to clean his wounds at his right leg. He winced. "Ouch," he said. "Anyway, let's stop talking like this. What are you doing here?" he asked. "I'm here to visit you, but since the other nurses and the doctors are busy, I decided to help," she said. "Why are you so sad anyway?" she asked. "We almost failed the mission," he said. "Something tells me that that is not the only reason," she said. "My teammate died," he said and sighed. "Well, as I can see, you are in good terms with that teammate of yours." "Even if I don't know him," she said. "You don't really know him, but he sacrificed his self for us. For Konoha. For the mission. Just to accomplish it." She looked up at him. His eyes were sad. "Death," he added. The woman looked down on the ground and she stopped tending on his wounds. She was sad too, for she had remembered someone dear to her. The man noticed. "I'm sorry, I forgot about him," he said. "Hinata. It's all right, Kiba," she said and she wiped a tear. She continued to tend his wounds in silence. The dog looked at them silently. "Hey, Hinata, what is it?" "It will be exactly 10 years tomorrow," Kiba said. "Yeah, will you visit him?" he asked. "Yes," she replied. She tried to hide away her sadness but she wasn't able to. Her sadness was evident in her voice and in her expression. "I can tell you haven't forgotten about him yet," Kiba said. "He was very dear to me, even if he did not know what he is to me," she said almost in a whisper. There was a moment of silence. "Hinata, do you mind if I accompany you tomorrow? I haven't visited him for quite a while, you know," He said, I don't mind. I would really appreciate your presence, since the graveyard is very lonely. She said. Kiba stood there, patting Akamaru's head. Akamaru, though 10 years have passed, has not yet slowed down and he doesn't hinder Kiba's movements during missions. The dog had grown larger, and he was larger than any dog in the clan. Kiba looked at the road and then saw his female friend walking towards him. She was wearing a black dress and she looked sad. Well, she looked sad every time this occasion would come, his death anniversary. Ah, Kiba-kun, did you wait long? She asked. Kiba shook his head. I just got here a few minutes before you did, he said, and he flashed a warm smile to his friend. Akamaru wagged his tail and barked in a jolly manner at Hinata when Hinata turned her attention to him. Hinata briefly patted his large head. Then, shall we go? Kiba asked. Hinata looked blankly at the distance. After a short moment, she nodded and they started to walk to the graveyard. Sigh. That was all Shizune could hear from Tsunade. It was the day, after all. The day he died. The day when they lost a very valuable ninja. A very valuable friend. The day they lost Tsunade's small brother. Shizune looked at Tsunade and she looked away. She just couldn't stand Tsunade's sad face. Shizune. Tsunade called out her name in a very sad tone. Shizune broke her train of thoughts. What is it, Tsunade-sama? She asked. Who do you think are? Who do you think are the eligible people who could be in that rank? In what rank? Who can be Hokage, next to me? Tsunade slowly stated. Why do you ask? Do you think an old woman like me can keep up with these duties? I may not look like it with this genjutsu, but I'm over 60 now. It would be better if we proclaim a new one, Tsunade said while she looked out the window. Shizune was shocked that Tsunade openly admitted her age, but she was absorbed with the topic that Tsunade brought up. But Tsunade-sama, he won't come back. He will never come back. He is dead. Tsunade looked down. Shizune paused in silence. She's right. Tsunade-sama is right. He back. She thought inside herself. The room was filled in silence. Sigh. The silence was broken again by Tsunade's heavy sigh. I can't even keep Konoha in perfect order right now, Tsunade said, and she looked again at the window. A lot has been happening lately, Tsunade-sama. Shizune said. So who shall it be? In your opinion? Tsunade then looked at Shizune. I am not in a position to do that. You better consult the council first. Shizune said. The both of them stood there, looking silently and solemnly at the stone where his name was carved. The birds chirped and the trees' leaves rustled because of the cold wind. It's funny. It's been 10 years, but it seemed like it was just yesterday when he was still a living, breathing being. Kiba said. Hinata stayed silent, but Kiba knew that her answer was yes. Do you still love him? Kiba asked. With all my heart, Kiba-kun. I will never ever stop loving him. She said. I should have known better. Known better about what? Hinata asked. I should have known that I stood no chance against a human resting in a coffin 6 feet under the ground. Kiba said. Hinata was not shocked. Kiba told her about his feelings a long time ago. I won't be able to forget him. I know. In the shadows, Blue Eyes watched the two. Wow, someone still visits, eh? A voice inside him spoke up. Why do you care? The one who possesses those captivating blue eyes said with a manly voice. Who said I cared? You're really annoying me. After 10 long years, you're still not used to my handsome voice? Handsome? You call your annoying voice handsome? Then what would you call it? Simply annoying. No, it's terribly annoying. The both of them still stood there silently. Kiba then looked at his watch. Hinata, I have to go now. Kiba said. Why? She asked. Something came up this morning, and it's time for me to do my obligations. Kiba said. I'm really sorry. Don't worry about me, Kiba. I'm fine here. Are you sure you're going to be fine here? It's so lonely here, and besides this is a graveyard, he said while looking around. I said don't worry. You're looking at an ANBU member here. Hinata smiled warmly at him. Kiba sighed. That's not what I've been trying to say. It's so lonely, and it is a sad day for all of us. Kiba said. Even the strongest of all beings face loneliness and sadness, Kiba. Sometimes, that is what makes that being stronger. Hinata said. So you're telling me that all of these have made you stronger? You're telling me that his death has made you stronger all these years? Hinata nodded. That day when he died, I promised in front of his coffin that I, Hyuga Hinata, will work hard from now on. That I will try hard to protect what he protected, that I will be stronger, that I will no longer be the shy girl that he knew. That I will face tomorrow with a smile. Even though he, the object of my affection and my inspiration, has left our world. She said. Kiba smiled. I don't want to sound rude, but I thank him for dying. If that was the thing that pushed you to be stronger, I wished he died sooner. Kiba grinned. Hinata punched him. I hate you, she said with a smile. Thank you. Kiba bowed down. Anyway, I have to go now. He smiled once again. He then walked away. Hey Kiba, she called out while she watched Kiba walk away. What? When we meet again, remind me to kill you, okay? Hinata said. Sure, Kiba said while walking away. Akamaru barked gently to say goodbye to Hinata. You take care of yourself too, Akamaru. Hinata said. Akamaru stopped following his master and barked once again. Hinata waved goodbye. Come on now, Akamaru. Kiba said and Akamaru followed him. Hinata turned around to face her beloved's grave after Kiba was no longer in her sight. Uzumaki Naruto, she whispered. She ran to the hospital to see what had happened to Shikamaru's team. She entered a hallway where she saw Shikamaru standing, Tamari sitting, and Shikamaru's dad was talking to Shikamaru. Suddenly Tsunade entered the room. Choji is fine now, she said. Shizune went out of a double door. She was panting. Hyuga Neji's condition has stabilized, she announced. Hinata sighed in relief. Are there no news yet about Kakashi and Naruto? The Godem Hokage asked. Shizune shook her head. There was silence. The door behind Hinata opened. She turned pale when she saw Kakashi with a very sad expression. He carried a boy in his arms. A blonde boy that was motionless and pale. A boy that seemed lifeless. Kakashi, what happened? Tsunade ran to Kakashi. Kakashi was unable to continue. Shizune called for a stretcher and it soon came. Kakashi laid the boy down on the stretcher. Hinata saw his hands trembling after he laid the boy down. Tsunade turned pale and she checked his pulse. He had no pulse. Kakashi, what happened? Tell me. Why does he have this hole in his chest? Tsunade asked the silver-haired Junin with teary eyes. I was too late, Tsunade-sama. Kakashi dropped down on the ground on his knees. He bent down and he punched the floor. He cursed himself for teaching Sasuke what might be the technique that killed his other student. Who did this to him? Shikamaru asked. He was crying. Kakashi raised his head to look at the leader of the team. Uchiha Sasuke. Kakashi said it with anger and grief. Are you sure? Tsunade asked. I am sure. I cannot be mistaken. That wound, that hole, was made by a technique called Chidori. By the technique that I taught him. Kakashi said. Hinata listened to the conversation while she looked at the lifeless body of the one she was infatuated with. No. The body of the one she loves very much. There was silence. Hinata heard the door open once again. Hey, a female said. She looked at the one who said it and she saw a girl that was named Sakura. Kakashi-sensei. What happened here? Sakura asked, her voice was trembling. Sakura. That was all Kakashi could say. Kakashi-sensei. Why is Naruto lying here like this? What happened to him? Where is Sasuke? Kakashi stood up. Please calm down, Sakura. Answer me, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi placed his hands on Sakura's shoulder. Sakura. Naruto is dead. Sasuke is gone, Kakashi said slowly. Tears began falling from Sakura's eyes. Who killed him? She asked. Who do you think did? Shikamaru asked Sakura with an angry voice. No, it can't be. He can't. Sakura's whole body trembled. Her knees weakened. Kakashi held her wrists tightly to support her. Say his name. Who do you think killed Uzumaki Naruto? Shikamaru said. Uchiha Sasuke. Sakura said. Correct. Kakashi said. 100% correct. Haruno Sakura. He added. No, it can't be. Sasuke-kun can't. Stop that. Hinata shouted. Don't say that because he did. He did kill Naruto-kun. Hinata was now crying. Hinata grabbed Sakura by the wrist. She then pointed at Naruto's wound. Do you see that? That's Naruto-kun's wound. The wound caused by no other than Uchiha Sasuke. Hinata said. Okay, stop that. Tsunade said while she wiped away her tears. It's over. Uchiha Sasuke is gone. Everyone else is fine. Uzumaki Naruto is dead. We can't do anything now. Tsunade said. A few days had passed. There was now a small gathering in the graveyard. Tsunade's eyes surveyed the coffin. She went through a lot just for him. She persuaded the council that Uzumaki Naruto should have his own grave because they wanted to cremate him and just carve his name on the memorial stone. Tsunade wanted to have a place to visit her so-called little brother. She didn't want to just look at his name on a piece of stone. So they were here today, for him, at his funeral. Everyone stood silent before his coffin. Anytime now, Tsunade would give a cue for it to be lowered. Each of them held a white rose except for Hinata, she held a red one. Tsunade then gave the cue. Everyone threw the flower at the hole while the coffin was slowly lowered. Before she threw her rose, Hinata prayed for his soul. Naruto-kun, may you rest in peace. I promise you. I'll train harder, to protect what you protected, and I love you. She said in a whisper that no one could hear. After that, she threw the flower gently down the hole. She sighed at what she recalled. She just couldn't forget about that day, about him. Will you just shut up? He screamed in his mind, hoping that the being inside him would understand that he is irritated, very irritated by all his ramblings. He heard the being's curses fading away. He closed his eyes and he sighed. At last, he thought. He was here in a silent place to have a peace of mind, and yet that damn creature inside him had to disturb him. Standing there, in a dark place where no one can see and sense him. He watched the young woman stare at a grave, his grave. Yes, it was his grave. It was his, yet he was there standing alive. He cursed the creature inside him because he had made things harder for him. He was content with his death. And it was the only way he can escape the darkness that once engulfed his life. But still, he was in the dark. All this years, he grew cold. He would rarely show his emotions with expression and movements. He learned how to remain calm. He could even say that he'd forgotten how to smile. He cursed the creature inside him once again. He then suddenly heard a growl in his head. Will you stop cursing me? If you don't, I'll toast your brains. The creature exclaimed in a very threatening tone. Like you could do that, he said. He growled once again. But if you really could, then I would gladly let you burn my brains. That way I can finally die. I should have died years ago anyway. He added. This time he snorted. Then he finally quieted down. He then looked at the gloomy scene laid before his eyes. The sun's rays were not able to touch the earth because of the dark clouds above. In his eyes, it was very gloomy. In the past, he would have hated this gloomy sight, but he has changed. He carried around a sad and lonely aura with him. It was not like the cheery aura he once had. This one will make you frown. His eyes seemed to question something while he stared at the dark sky. He questioned his existence. Like he said, he should have died 10 years ago. He should really be buried 6 feet under the ground, not standing in one dark corner, breathing and living. Why? He still had the power to ask even if he spent his 10 years wondering what the answer was. Yes, the creature inside him resurrected him so he could live. But he felt that there was something more. A reason why God did this. But, he thought, that time when Sasuke made a hole in his chest, he didn't really die. He was alive inside the creature's world. His body that time was motionless, but nevertheless, he still felt alive that time. He clenched his fist and gritted his teeth. Damn, now all his thinking made things much more complicated. The sun had finally shown itself. The dark clouds have left and it drifted to another place. Now he stood there, startled as white eyes met his blue ones. He stood there startled as Hyuga Hinata questioned him with her white eyes. He was startled, but he didn't show it in his face. He just stayed calm, hoping that he could get out of this situation. He was a bit irritated by the way that Hinata looked at him. Her eyes questioned his existence. He thought, if she asked why he was alive, what would he answer to her? He cursed himself for absent-mindedly standing in that corner. If he was just paying attention, this wouldn't have happened. Hinata squinted to make sure that what she was seeing was real. It could be just a figment of her imagination after all. She became teary when she had a good look on him. It surely looked like him. Like Uzumaki Naruto, but just older. What Hinata didn't like is that he looked sad and there was somewhat an aura of darkness, loneliness and mystery. Oh God, this was all a figment of her imagination. She missed him so much. Did she miss him that much that she can imagine him as an older Naruto? But what puzzled her was his darkness. She never did think about a dark, sad and mysterious Naruto before. She believed that it wasn't a spirit because spirits don't mature and grow through time. She was now crying. Damn it, why is she crying? he asked inside his head. He resisted the urge to grit his teeth and he remained calmed. Damn Naruto, you have to think this through calmly. Yes, calmly. He reminded himself. He wanted to ask her why, but he was afraid that it would make things more complicated. He resisted the urge to comfort her too. And then, almost by cue, the dark clouds came again and shadows covered the corner again. Hinata blinked a few times after the dark clouds left. He wasn't there. So it was true, it was just a figment of her imagination, but she still could not stop crying. Tsunade walked to the graveyard slowly. Shizune was following her with Tun-Tun in her arms. Pretty soon they reached the entrance to the grave. They passed the high pillars of the open gate. On the path to his grave, Tsunade saw an ANBU member whom she knew staring at a corner which was illuminated by the sun. The woman who she was observing was trembling and crying. Tsunade approached the woman and she lightly tapped her on the shoulder. The woman gasped slightly after she snapped up from a state of trance. She blinked a few times before she fully regained herself. Hokage-sama, she stuttered. Hinata, what is wrong? The Godem asked. Hokage-sama, I. Hinata was only able to say that. Tsunade raised her eyebrow and she sighed. Whatever it was. You better get over it. You still have work to do, right? Tsunade flashed a warm smile. Hinata wiped away her tears and she straightened her posture. Hi, Hokage-sama, she replied. Hinata then bowed down. I'll go now, Hokage-sama, Hinata said shyly. Tsunade patted Hinata in the shoulder before she let Hinata go. You take care of yourself, okay? If Naruto was watching you and you're that sad, he won't be happy. Tsunade smiled. Hinata had a faint blush in her cheeks. She bowed down again and then left. Shizune and Tsunade watched the Hyuga heiress walk away. That's the girl who likes Naruto-kun, right? Shizune asked. Tsunade nodded and said, but she doesn't have to be crying like that. It's been 10 years. Tsunade said. She approached Naruto's grave. She kneeled down and traced his carved name on the stone. I understand her though. Anyone who knows him will miss him. She dropped her head. The sun has set and shall never rise again. She mumbled. Tsunade-sama, Shizune said. Tsunade raised her head. She stared at his name quietly. Uzumaki Naruto, the one who made me believe in Konoha's fire. Konoha would be brighter if you would still be living today. The fire of this village would have burned fiercer if you were its guardian. She once again traced the engraved letters. Her sad expression turned into a serious one. Uchiha Sasuke will pay for this. He shouldn't have taken Konoha's sunshine away. One, for you, Naruto. This village shall not falter. Tsunade said and she stood up. Well Naruto, sorry for disturbing you. She said, I have to go now. She added. She turned around. Come on Shizune. I still need to finish my paperwork. Tsunade yawned. Hi, Tsunade-sama. Shizune followed her out of the graveyard. You better keep that promise, Granny. Naruto said while he sat in a bough far away from his grave. He was able to hear all Tsunade's words because of his enhanced sense of hearing. The fox had made him into a powerful ninja. If he would focus Charka in his eyes could see what the Byakugan kid and even predict the next movements of the enemy like the Sharingan does. That was a close one, kid. The fox said. I didn't intend that. Naruto sighed. You know how much I've tried to keep my existence in secrecy. But your purpose here is to warn them about outside forces. I know. Sooner or later, they will all find out. Naruto said. The problem is, I don't know how they could handle the truth that I am still alive. It's your entire fault. If you didn't keep me alive, things would have been easier. Naruto said. Kyuubi snorted. My survival is not the only reason why I kept you alive. You know it but you're denying it. You still want the acknowledgement of the brother you never had. And you want to die? I gave you a chance to pursue your dreams by giving you life. With the second chance I gave you, you can have that acknowledgement sometime in the future. Life isn't easy, kid. Naruto hated to admit but Kyuubi was telling the truth. I thought I told you to shut up? Naruto asked. Kyuubi snorted and didn't reply. Good fox, he said. A member of the branch family named Hyuga Neji was searching for the Hyuga heiress. After minutes of walking, he found her sitting quietly at a bench in the park. There you are, he said and approached the Hyuga heiress. I've been looking for you. Hiyashi wants to talk to you. Now he stood in front of Hinata. She didn't reply. It looked like she was in a state of trance while she looked at her hands resting at her lap. "Hinata-sama," he called out. She winced and she looked up. "Neji ni-san," she whispered. "What are you doing here?" she asked. Neji sighed. "I just said it a while ago." Hinata raised her eyebrows. "How long have you been here?" she asked. "For a few minutes. But, I wasn't listening," she said, looking down on the ground. Neji sighed again. "Hiyashi-sama wants to talk to you," he said. "Is something troubling you, Hinata-sama? It's been a long time since you acted like that. If my memory serves me right, you act like that for the past 10 years when you are in trouble only," he said. Nothing is wrong. You know how sad I can get when this day comes," she whispered. "Ah, right, it is the day after all." Neji remembered. "Hiyashi-sama won't be pleased if you keep him waiting," Neji said. Hinata stood up. "Oi, forehead girl." Ino waved her hand at the approaching pink-haired Kunoichi. "Hey Ino pig," she greeted back. Ever since they were younger, they started teasing one another with these names. They have grown accustomed to it. It would only serve as a friendly greeting between these ex-rivals/best friends. Sakura approached Ino carrying a bouquet of flowers in her arms. Ino grinned. "Is that flower for me?" she asked. "Is this for you?" she echoed. "Ha, is Shikamaru driving you nuts? I bought this from your shop, so why must I give it to you?" she said. "And besides," her voice softened, "this for Naruto no Baka. For the fool who left us 10 years ago," she said with sad eyes. Ino furrowed her eyebrows and she pumped her fists. "First of all, Shika-kun is not driving me nuts, okay? And second, we better not keep Naruto waiting," Ino said. "Okay," Sakura said. "She calls me Naruto no Baka, eh?" Naruto raised his eyebrows. "Well, let's see what she's going to say." He slouched. "Well, Naruto, it's been 10 years. I'm wondering how you are doing up there." She smiled. "Or did you end up all the way down?" she joked. "Well, you are a person that should end up in heaven anyway, so you must be in there. You sacrificed yourself. You suffered for us. You are a hero. Our hero. So you must have ended up there," Sakura said after she laid the flowers down. Ino smiled. "He's up there, trust me," Ino said. Sakura smiled at her. "Hey, there are no red roses yet," Sakura said. "Hinata didn't come by our shop to buy this morning, maybe she will later," Ino said. "She will. I know. There is no way she could forget what day it is," Ino added. I know. The day just started. Are the others going to visit him later?" Sakura asked. "I think so. Shika-kun and Choji will be visiting him before they leave," Ino said. "They have another mission? They just arrived from their previous one yesterday," Sakura exclaimed. "How about you, have you been assigned for a mission?" she asked. Ino shook her head. "Shika-kun insists that I should not accept any mission. Times today are dangerous, he told me yesterday. He said I should just stay here and take care of Konoha." Ino's face saddened. "You're worried, are you?" Sakura asked. "Of course I am. Who knows? Maybe the next time he'll come home, he'll end up just like. Ino stopped speaking. "Okay, you stop that now and pray for his safety. I trust that he'll come back alive, okay? You should trust him too," Sakura said. "But, we can't be too confident," Ino said. "Then if you are not sure, you better go and see him now. Go and tell him all you want to say. Go and cherish all the hours he is with you," Sakura said. "You better do that, or you'll regret it. In my case, I wasn't able to cherish my friendship with Naruto that much. I never even told him how much I appreciate his existence and friendship. I was so Sasuke-centered," Sakura said. Ino stayed silent. "Well, Naruto." She turned her attention at his grave. "I better go now," Sakura said. "Sakura, I understand, don't worry," Naruto whispered in his seat. "Hiyashi-sama, Hinata-sama is here," Neji said. "Good work, let her in then," Hiyashi said. "Hi," Neji said, and he went out of the room. The door opened and the Hyuga heiress went in. "Father, you called?" she asked in a graceful manner. "Yes, sit down, my child," he said while patting the tatami beside him. Hinata approached him and sat down beside him. He laid his teacup on the ground and he pushed a tray with a teapot, and another teacup was placed towards Hinata. "Help yourself," he said. Hinata nodded. She gently held the teapot in her hands. Gracefully, she poured tea on the cup. "Hinata," her father called out. "Hi," she asked. He brought the teacup towards his lips and sipped a small amount. After that, he put it down. When would your duty start today? He asked. It would start later, father. She answered, and she took a sip from her cup. Ah, do you have any missions? He asked. The ANBU team I am assigned to has currently no missions yet. We have been assigned to keep a lookout for any suspicious outside forces. But there is still a possibility that Tsunade-sama will assign us on a special mission, she said. Hiyashi nodded and his eyes looked down at his now empty teacup. You did quite well on your past mission, Hiyashi said. Hinata then recalled how dangerous her previous mission was. They had to deal with a class missing nins on that mission. There were 3 of them and she took out 2 single-handedly. Neji was on her team and had reported her achievement to her father. Her father didn't show much interest to it though. She stayed silent. My daughter, you have grown well and strong. He smiled. I, the Hyuga head, am old and you, the heiress, are young. Do you get what I mean? I think that you are more than ready for it. She stared at her father in disbelief. Does this mean you would be passing the duty to her? But the last time she checked, her father still doubted her. Why do you look at me like that? Do you doubt yourself, Hinata? He asked. He then sighed. Forgive me for doubting you in the past. It was an action that I thought would push you to work very hard. Well, it did, but everything has a consequence. My actions resulted to a wound in your fragile heart. I should have known that your emotions were as fragile as your mother's. He sighed. But father, it is all in the past. I forgive you, she said after hearing the tone that Hiyashi used. It was a tone of his that was not commonly heard by anyone. It was a tone that seemed to say that the Hyuga head was degrading his self. Hiyashi smiled. Then I am happy. He spun a little and he was now facing his daughter. He planted his hands on her shoulders. I am proud of you. You make good choices, you are strong, and you know what is right and wrong, and most of all I trust you. Hiyashi flashed a father's smile to Hinata. Hinata in turn smiled at him warmly. Well, the only thing missing now is a good son-in-law to be. Hiyashi smiled in a manner that teased Hinata. What do you mean, father? She asked. Hiyashi returned to his previous sitting position. He rubbed his chin. Well, Uzumaki Naruto would have been a great suitor, nay my daughter? With this Hinata blushed. Father, she merely whispered. If only he was alive. He said. You knew? She asked. I know how to read my daughter, Hinata. If I didn't it would surely be shame that I would have carried to my grave. Hiyashi said. But, you understand what being a Hyuga head is, right? He asked. Yes father. You have to sink back in your Junin position. No more meetings with the ANBU squad because you are no longer with them. I will give you a letter later and you shall deliver it to the Hokage. Is it clear, my daughter? He asked. He had lost his fatherly tone and he was now using his resolute and serious tone. Hi, Hinata firmly responded. Minutes after, Hinata found herself walking to the administrative building where the Hokage's building was. She was no longer wearing her ANBU uniform. She wore her Junin vest paired with a fishnet shirt and a black jacket with the Hyuga crest at the back which concealed her figure. She also wore black pants that felt comfortable. She was holding in her hands a plain white envelope sealed by the Hyuga crest. Minutes later, she was now inside the building. "Anu, miss," she said to the lady at the reception desk. The lady looked up at her. "Is the Hokage in?" she asked. The lady smiled at her. "Yes, she is, Hyuga-san. Is she doing anything? Can I talk to her?" Hinata asked. "Fortunately, Hokage-sama is only preoccupied with her paperwork. I think she'll gladly leave it to talk to you," the lady said. Hinata smiled. "Thank you." She then went up the stairs and then she passed the hallway. She now found herself in front of the door. Not him. He's too self-centered. She crossed out a picture of a young Junin. "What about her?" Shizune asked. "No, she's too busy with her family," she said and crossed out a picture of a female. Shizune sighed. "Tsunade-sama, why won't you pick one?" she asked. "Shizune, it isn't as easy as you think it is. Even though they are qualified, they lack the fire I am looking for," she said. "No one can rival Naruto-kun's fire," Shizune said and pouted. Tsunade frowned and her face saddened. Shizune mentally slapped herself for saying that. She shouldn't have said it. Of course no one can rival Naruto's fire. But it was just not the right time to say it. Tsunade looked down in the folder. No one could rival Naruto-kun's fire. Shizune's words echoed in her head. In Tsunade's opinion, Naruto was the only one that could possibly fill in the Hokage spot after her. She wasn't playing favorites, but he was just the best out there. After a few minutes, they heard a knock. "Who is it?" Shizune asked. "It is Hyuga Hinata. My father has sent me to deliver a letter to the Hokage." Hinata said at the other side of the door. "Let her in, Shizune," Tsunade said. Shizune then opened the door. "Come in, Hinata-chan." Shizune smiled. Hinata then approached Tsunade's table. Before she was able to reach the table, Tsunade closed the folder for the Hokage candidates. Hinata then held out an envelope. Tsunade took it. She opened it in silence and she read its contents slowly. After reading it, she laid it one on her table. "So you're to be announced as Hyuga head tomorrow. Prior to that, you must be removed from your ANBU squad to lessen the ninja duty on your shoulders. Do you know this already, Hinata?" Tsunade asked. Hinata nodded. "Good, Hiyashi told you. I'll send a note to your squad leader containing that you shift back to a Junin. Another ninja shall fill in your spot. You will have to take lesser or no missions at all because of your duties as Hyuga head, understood?" Tsunade asked. Hinata nodded. "Then you may go now, Hinata-chan." "No, Hyuga-sama," Tsunade said. Tsunade-sama, are you alright?" Hinata asked. Don't worry about me. It's just stress, I'll get over it later," Tsunade said. Hinata took out a small white pill. "What is that?" Tsunade raised her eyebrows. "Stress-relieving pill. I made it." Hinata smiled. Tsunade took it and examined it. "Well, thank you. It's very effective, Tsunade-sama," Hinata said. "I reckon it has been tried and tested," Tsunade said. Hinata nodded with a sweet smile. "Konoha will sue you if I die, you know." Tsunade then took it. After that, Hinata made her way to the Yamanaka flower shop. Welcome Hinata-chan." Ino greeted her. She greeted back with her usual sweet smile. Ino raised one eyebrow. No ANBU mask and uniform? Are you in a day off today, Hinata-chan?" Ino asked. Hinata shook her head. "What, don't tell me you got demoted?" Ino exclaimed. Hinata shook her head. "Well, it's not purely demotion," Hinata said. "Then what is it?" "Father has stepped down," Hinata whispered in a shy manner. "Then that means?" Hinata nodded. "Hi, effective tomorrow, I will be the Hyuga head," Hinata said. "Are you ready for it, Hinata-chan?" I mean Hyuga-sama," Ino said. "Father said I was more than ready, so I think I am." Hinata smiled. Ino grinned at her. Naruto would have been proud if he was still alive. "What's up with all of you saying, Naruto this and Naruto that, all around me?" Hinata asked. "We miss him too, Hyuga-sama," Ino said. "And please stop calling me Hyuga-sama. I am not accustomed to it." "Hinata-sama is fine, but I don't want to be called like that by my friends. Hinata-chan would be okay," Hinata said. Hi, do you a bouquet of red roses then?" Ino asked. Hinata nodded. Hinata then made her way to the grave for the second time today. Now, she was carrying a bouquet of red roses. A part of her visit to Naruto's grave which she had grown accustomed to all these 10 years. She looked down at the ground while she walked towards where his last resting place was. When she arrived there she saw the same man she saw a while ago. After Sakura and Ino left, came the others who just looked at his grave. After they left, Naruto jumped down from the tree and he approached his grave. He raised one eyebrow at the sight of it. "Uzumaki Naruto, Konoha's true and unsung hero." He read out the engravings. He snorted. "I am their unsung hero, eh? Truly deemed to be forgotten." He said, "I am the unsung hero, eh? Truly deemed to be forgotten." She heard that. Did the man say he was Uzumaki Naruto? She asked after hearing the "I am" part. "Naruto-kun," she called out. He was startled. He turned around at once when he heard that. She saw Hyuga Hinata holding a bouquet of red roses. Her eyes were wide and he could tell that if she wasn't raised up as refined citizen of Konoha, she would have dropped her jaws open now. "Hyuga Hinata," he said. She now dropped the bouquet. The man that was standing there caught it. She was shocked. He knew who she was. Was it really true? Was it really Uzumaki Naruto? She asked all of those things. "Why have you dropped it? I thought it was for me?" He asked in a calm tone like nothing extraordinary happened. She covered her mouth with her hand. "What the hell are you doing, kid?" Kyuubi asked. "Fate," Naruto thought while he held the bouquet of red roses. "What? I thought you don't believe in fate." "Baka, What I don't believe in is predestination, Naruto thought. She removed it from her mouth. Naruto-kun. You're alive? She stammered. It's too hard to believe, nay? He asked. Hinata couldn't reply. Are you really alive? She asked. Naruto approached her slowly. His big hands grabbed one of Hinata's small hands. He placed it over his chest. Hinata could feel his heartbeat. Yes, he simply answered. Hinata then raised her head. Her eyes were saying something that Naruto could not decipher. He could not tear his eyes away from her eyes because he wanted to know what they were saying. There was silence as Hinata became teary. She then embraced Naruto and buried her face in his chest. Naruto then wrapped his arms around her to comfort her. Why didn't you tell us you were alive? All these years, you were. Tell me why? She asked and she pounded Naruto's chest gently with her hands. I did it to protect all of you, he said in a soft voice. Hinata continued to sob in his arms. Naruto-kun, she whispered. She then raised her head again. Naruto saw the same eyes that he could not decipher. What was it? He asked himself. Are you going to tell everyone that you are alive? She asked. I need to, he said. Will you stay? She asked. That, I could not answer. I am unsure. He whispered. She still stared at him with her white eyes. Why do you stare at me like that? He asked. Hinata broke away from the embrace when she noticed. She looked away with a blush. I missed you. She stammered. You were the only one who missed me? He asked her. We all missed you, she said. There was silence again. How did you live? She asked. I guess God gave me a second chance, he said while looking at the sky. It was once again blue. Maybe God has given me another chance too. Hinata thought as she looked up at the blue sky too. They stood there watching the clouds drift by. Naruto wondered if Shikamaru still indulges in his cloud-watching pastimes. After remembering that he had a companion now, he shifted his attention to her. She didn't notice but Naruto was examining her. Naruto was quite impressed. The flower has bloomed into a beautiful one, he said in his mind. Hinata grew into a graceful, charming and beautiful lady. She grew into one of those women that would make you stare at them in awe. He wondered why he never did take a close look on Hinata before. Oh yeah, because I was too infatuated with Sakura. He recalled the antics he has caused just because he wanted Sakura to look his way. But it was not all just antics, some of them were quite heroic. Naruto-kun, Hinata called. She had a faint blush in her cheeks. I'm sorry, he said in a gloomy expression. She had grown into a beautiful flower yet he has lost his radiance. Let us go tell Hokage-sama, she said. Naruto raised his eyebrows. That you are alive? She added. Naruto stayed silent. Was he ready? He asked himself. Hinata stood there waiting for his reply. Naruto looked down. To Hinata, it looked like Naruto's mind was somewhere else. What has happened to him anyway? She wanted to know why he changed so much. Naruto-kun, she asked. Naruto winced and snapped off his thoughts. I'm sorry, he said with a light cold tone. Hinata sighed and then smiled at him. Well, I think you're not ready yet. She ended it with another warm smile. Naruto was startled by her smile. He felt a strange feeling course through his body. It seemed like it hit his heart. He hasn't felt that for a long time, a human's warmth. He brushed back his long blonde bangs. You really think I should tell her? He asked. She will be happy, Hinata said. You don't know how sad she was when you died. You don't know how sad we were. Her tone saddened. She began crying again. She covered her face with her small pale hands. Naruto felt sad that she was crying. Don't cry please, he pleaded and he embraced Hinata. I don't want to see people sad because of me, he added. Hinata sobbed before replying. That's why you had to tell the rest, that you were alive. She removed her hands from her face. Naruto saw her tears flowing. She looked up at him again. We are all sad because we know that you are dead and yet, you were alive, all along? She sobbed between pauses. Naruto wiped away her tears. He closed his eyes and sighed. Okay, he opened his eyes and Hinata saw how captivating his eyes are. But, I'm not ready to walk on those streets again, he said. Why? She asked. Naruto just stared at her. There was silence. I understand? Hinata whispered. What did you say? I understand, Naruto-kun. I understand that you are not ready to tell yet. Hinata smiled. Naruto stayed silent. He then shifted his attention at a bench near a tree. Come, let us sit there, he said to Hinata. They approached the bench and sat there. Why are we sitting here? Hinata asked him. I thought you had many questions to ask me, Naruto said. Hinata smiled. Oh, right, she whispered. There was silence. Naruto wondered why she wasn't asking yet. Aren't you going to ask me? He asked. Hinata smiled once again. If you really want to be the interviewee, do you think you are really ready to answer my questions? She asked. Naruto raised one eyebrow while staring at her white eyes. He had to ask himself. Was her ready to tell? Ready to tell it all? He diverted his attention to the marble pavement leading to his so-called grave. Hinata was correct. He wasn't ready to tell what happened yet. He wasn't ready to tell the reason why he kept his existence in secrecy for absolutely 10 years. Coincidentally, they both sighed at the same moment. Naruto then found himself staring at her white eyes. He was so captivated. He could feel his darkness being drained out of him while he stared at her pure white eyes. The warmth she was radiating was different. It was something he hadn't felt before. He shook off the thoughts and decided that if she wasn't going to ask, he was the one that was going to. So, what has happened around here? He asked. Well, Tsunade-sama tried hard to get Konoha in a good condition again. Hopefully, it's in top condition now even if war could happen anytime. She said. What happened to you then? He asked. To me? Well, nothing much. She said. Don't answer me with that. He said. Hinata frowned. Why? A lot can happen in 10 years. He said. And by the looks of it, you grew so much. He stated slowly. You really think so? She asked. Naruto nodded. In my 10 years of travel, I've been able to tell something about the person by looking at his eyes or by examining him and his actions. In the past, you were like a flower that has not yet bloomed, but now, look at you. It looks like you have grown into the most beautiful woman I ever saw. Naruto said. Hinata blushed at the remark. So tell me, how much have you exactly grown? Anew? Hinata paused. Anew? Something pushed me to work harder, so I trained a lot and eventually I got stronger. Father acknowledged me finally as the true heir and he just stepped down. She said. Then that means that you are now the Hyuga head? Naruto said. Hinata smiled. I am the unofficial head, but tomorrow it shall be official. She said. Congratulations, he said. Hinata blushed and smiled. Thank you. Naruto then stood up. He offered his hand to Hinata. It's getting late, he said. Hinata nodded and with his help, she stood up. Ah, Naruto-kun? She stared at him before leaving. Why? He asked. Of all people, you should not be the one that should forget how to smile. She then bowed down. She started walking. Naruto watched her as she left him. Hinata? His voice halted every muscle in her legs. Thank you, he said. She smiled. She spun around and faced him. Thank you for teaching me how to smile again. He continued and he smiled at her. His smile warmed her heart. His smile made her smile too. I didn't teach you, I just helped you remember. With that she turned around and resumed her walking. Naruto smiled. He was now certainly proud of her. Tsunade leaned on her desk with her arms. Her head was resting in her forearms. She looked like she was sleeping, but she wasn't. She was still awake, but she had felt tired. She then heard a small noise in her desk. She peeked through her arms and saw a bottle of sake. It's still warm, Tsunade-sama, Shizune said. Tsunade straightened up and she stretched her arms. Where did this come from? Tsunade asked. As usual, the bar located near. Shizune smiled. Tsunade looked down at the bottle of sake. She stared at it like she was examining if it has poison or not, or something like that. Shizune cocked her head sideward. Is there something wrong, Tsunade-sama? She asked the Hokage. Tsunade shook her head. No, there is nothing wrong. She smiled and took the bottle of sake. Outside the administration building's door, a hooded man stood there thinking whether he should enter or not. His blue eyes stared at the door as his heart started to beat faster. They're bound to know sooner or later, he thought. Yeah, they're bound to, but now is not the time. He sighed. Maybe I'll just visit her as a shadow. Tsunade-sama, I'll just leave you for a while, I have to check something. Shizune said before she closed the door. Tsunade, on the other hand, drank down her third bottle of sake. She bowed her head and her eyes were almost shut. She was not yet drunk, but she was dead tired. She hadn't slept for 2 straight days because of some top-secret issues, and those issues just wouldn't leave her. Now, she recalled that someone younger than her who would take her place could do something more. Right now, Shizhu wanted to sleep. She leaned her arms at her table and she rested her head at her forearms. She started to sleep. Just after that, the hooded man came in. He made sure that she was asleep. He smirked a little. A Hokage shouldn't drop her guard. He whispered, but I guess luck is on my side. Naruto? Tsunade murmured. The hooded man removed his hood and he looked down at the fifth Hokage. Tsunade, Obachan? A small smile formed at his lips. Stop calling me like that. She continued to whisper. What would you do if Naruto was alive all these years? He asked silently. First, I would give him my strongest punch, she said. Then, I'll hug him so tight and say to him he is such an idiot. She added. Naruto smiled. But you'll kill Naruto if you do that. Don't worry, he's one tough ninja. Tsunade whispered. Naruto laughed softly. But he's one big idiot too. He shouldn't have died by the hands of that Uchiha kid. She murmured. Tsunade? Naruto whispered. He stared at her in silence. Suddenly, he heard the door creak. Tsunade-sama, Shizune said as she opened the door. By the time the door was open, she saw that the window was open. The curtain was moving with the wind. She closed the door and she approached the window and closed it too. After that, she looked down at Tsunade. I guess she fell asleep, she whispered. Naruto looked up at the now closed window of Tsunade's office. He put on his hood again. Good night, Tsunade, he whispered and he started walking away from the building. As he walked in the streets, he was having a bad feeling. He felt bad about something but he wasn't sure what that something was. He walked around Konoha to familiarize himself once again with the place he called home. He found out that nothing much has changed and he was especially happy seeing his favorite ramen shop still standing. He wanted to eat there but he can't. He then wandered to the training grounds. The area has grown more trees and the other trees seem larger. He approached a tree stump and he sat there. He just stared at nothing. He released a sigh and he looked up at the sky. It was already night. The stars were twinkling at the sky. It was peaceful, too peaceful. It was like the night from a long time ago. Pictures of a bloody floor and a dead little boy flashed through his mind. He shut his eye and he shook his head. Naruto, you haven't forgotten about that yet? No, he whispered the reply. Kyuubi snorted. I don't want to forget it. He said, you puzzle me, Naruto. Why wouldn't you want to forget a memory like that? That memory and experience, it adds more to my purpose. He said, what is your purpose, Naruto? My purpose is, to protect the ones I love. I will never let that bastard who sent those pawns to kill that innocent boy. He had so much anger in his voice. Something tells me that you know who that bastard is. Naruto smirked. Indeed, I know who he is. Death is too good for him yet he needs to die. He said, that man has a death wish for planning to attack this village bit by bit. He crinkled his eyebrows in determination. I will be the one who will grant his death wish. And what makes you think that he'll come here? He wants to smoke me out of my hiding. When I come out, he'll come out. He knows you? Ah, we both know each other, Fox. Then, he's... Kyuubi's words were interrupted by a whistle alarming ninjas near the vicinity. Because an alarm has been sounded, Naruto assumed that there will be enough ninjas to take care of what's happening. He then heard footsteps and he instantly hid behind a bush. Step, step, step. The sound increased as that person approached Naruto. Naruto stayed still and waited for the unknown person. Soon, he heard heavy breaths and the person revealed himself. Naruto saw that he was carrying a large scroll. He was only a child. And that scroll, that was the scroll of forbidden jutsus, the scroll he stole when he was tricked a long time ago. The boy was wearing a thick jacket and black shorts. He had jet black hair. The child tripped on a root protruding from the ground. He leapt from his hiding place and he quickly grappled the child. What are you doing with this scroll? Naruto asked with a cold voice. The boy struggled against him but found out it was no use. Why the hell do you care? The boy protested. Why do I care? Naruto laughed and his cold laugh made the boy freeze. Listen kid, do you know what scroll this is? He asked. The kid grunted and protested with muffled curses while Naruto held him down. Naruto tightened his grip. Answer me, Naruto commanded. The boy then trembled. No, the boy replied. Naruto sighed. You don't, then why do you have it? Don't you know that this is a forbidden scroll? Naruto asked. Someone told me that I will get stronger if I read this scroll. The boy explained with a trembling voice. Someone told you? Yeah, who is that someone? I don't know him. The boy said. Naruto stayed silent. The boy didn't know, but Naruto was examining the sound of his heartbeat. Naruto had the ability to tell if the person is lying or telling the truth by the heartbeat sound because of his enhanced sense of hearing. Damn, where is he? Someone said a few feet away. Please, let me go. The child pleaded. I can't, Naruto said. I don't want to be punished. If you didn't want to be punished, you shouldn't have done this in the first place. Naruto said. He was still holding the child down. We finally found, huh? A ninja said. Naruto stood up, still holding the child. You were looking for this boy? He asked the Chunin who was searching for the boy. A small smile formed in his lips. The Chunin nodded. Then go and get him, Naruto said. The Chunin stepped forward and took the child. He started scolding the child. After a few minutes, he turned to Naruto. Thank you. If someone evil gets a hold of this scroll, it would be bad. The Chunin said. Naruto picked up the scroll and gave it to the Chunin. I know. He paused. Iruka-sensei, Naruto said. Were you a past student of mine? Iruka asked. Yes, I was, Naruto said. Iruka examined Naruto. He could not tell who he was because it was dim and the shadow caused by his hood covered his face until his nose. The shadow was covering his whisker lines as well. I guess, you could not tell, Naruto said. Who I am? Iruka smiled. How could I tell? I could not even see your face. He said. Iruka saw Naruto smile. Does it matter? Naruto asked. Yes, it does. Now tell me who you are, young man. Iruka said. Naruto laughed. I'll ask you first, have you developed a heart disease? Me? How can a healthy person like me develop heart disease? Iruka smiled. Naruto raised his hand and he removed his hood. Iruka froze. His jaw was dropped and he turned pale. Naruto, is that you? He asked. Naruto stayed silent. He stared at the shocked Iruka before him. But, you, I saw you. Iruka stuttered. Because of his disbelief and shocked state, he loosened his grip on the boy and the boy ran away but was successfully stopped by a Naruto bunshin. The bunshin then tied the boy to a tree and stood guard as Naruto and Iruka stared at one another. After that, Iruka burst into tears. Naruto, you were alive. Why didn't you tell us? Iruka said while he cried. Man, you should get a recorder or you'll end up repeating your reason a lot of times. Kyuubi said. Naruto's eye twitched because of Kyuubi's comment. Naruto, why didn't you tell us? Iruka repeated the question. Tsunade-sama. Shizune shook Tsunade's shoulder to wake her up. What do you want? Tsunade said as she stretched her arms. Anu, there is an emergency? Shizune said. What kind of emergency? She asked. The scroll of forbidden jutsus has been stolen, by a kid. Shizune said. It was stolen, by a kid? Tsunade asked. Shizune nodded. Give me the crystal ball then. Shizune went to a drawer and brought out the crystal ball that Sandaime used when he was still alive. Tsunade activated the ball and saw the kids tied to a tree. I guess it's been taken care of. Her voice trailed off when she saw someone very familiar via the crystal ball. Who the hell is with Iruka? He looks like. I hid because I wanted to protect all of you. Tsunade heard the man via the ball. The man's voice was cold. But, do you know how much sadness you gave us because we knew you were dead? Iruka asked. No. Tears started welling up in Naruto's eyes. I'm sorry, but I had to hide, to protect you, to get myself some time to think. Iruka cried more. Naruto, it's all in the past. What matters is that you're still alive. Iruka's voice trembled because he was crying. He then smiled. Everyone will be happy when they hear the news about you, he said. He wiped his tears away. Tsunade instantly stood up after this. Tsunade-sama, where are you going? Shizune asked. I'm going where Naruto is. Tsunade said. You're going to the graveyard? Shizune asked. She didn't hear the conversation between Naruto and Iruka. No, Tsunade approached the door. Then where? She asked. Just follow me. They have been standing like that for a while now. They have been saying no word at all. But their tears hadn't stopped yet. Iruka felt too emotional with the truth of Naruto's existence. Naruto, is that really you? A female asked. Naruto turned his head and he saw Tsunade. Had a good night's sleep, Tsunade? He asked. How did you know I was sleeping? I passed by, he said. You went there without alerting anyone? She asked. There are still unwanted holes in the security that needs to be fixed," he said. Tsunade then approached him. When she was a feet away from him, she asked, "So you were the one that was asking me all those questions?" She asked. "Yes, I was the one," he replied. "You baka?" Tsunade exclaimed. "You should have at least told me that you were still alive and you were just hiding. Don't you know how hard it is to choose another Hokage potential besides you?" She hit him in the head. Naruto massaged the part that Tsunade hit with his hand. "Why am I your only choice?" he asked. "It's not that you're my only choice, but you're the best choice for the village's future," she said. Tears started to fall. Naruto didn't reply. He soon smiled. "I thought you were going to hug me really tight?" he asked. Tsunade smiled. Shizune, who was affected by the emotion, wiped away her tears and smiled at the scene. "So, where have you been all these years?" Tsunade asked after giving Naruto a hug. "I'll tell you when the others find out about me." "And when would that be?" she asked. "I don't know," he said. "I'll come by your office tomorrow morning," he said. "For the meantime, I need some rest, and make sure you take care of that kid," he said and disappeared in a puff of smoke. "He has changed much?" Tsunade whispered. Hyuga Hinata was leisurely taking a walk in the Hyuga compound's garden. Violet flowers had bloomed earlier and she was here to see the sight. "Beautiful, isn't it?" a man asked. Hinata turned around and saw Naruto sitting in a bough. "Naruto-kun, what are you doing here?" she asked. Naruto smiled. "Naruto-kun, what are you doing here?" she asked. Naruto smiled. Hinata smiled at him too. "So, are you going to answer my question or not?" Naruto laughed softly. "It's really fun seeing a more confident Hinata," he said. Hinata blushed. "Would you smile again, for me?" he requested. She raised an eyebrow. "Why?" she asked. "Why?" He laughed softly again. "It's because I like to see your smile," he said. She smiled again. A mild breeze passed them. "Tsunade and Iruka-sensei already knows," he said. "Really?" she asked. He raised his head to look at the stars. "Yeah," he said. She looked at the stars too. "Hinata?" he whispered. "What?" she asked. "They're going to announce it tomorrow, right?" he asked. "Well, if you're talking about me being the official Hyuga head, yes, they're going to announce it tomorrow," she said. "Is there going to be a big gathering?" he asked. "Yeah, they already invited all important people. They invited my friends too. All who cares for you shall be there." She smiled at him. "What time?" he asked. "At the afternoon, before dinner." "Oh." He scratched his cheek and jumped down from the bough. "Are you going already?" she asked. "Yeah," he smiled. "Take care of yourself. You have a big day tomorrow? Good night." "Hey, Naruto-kun," she said in a hurry. "Are you going to reveal yourself to the others tomorrow?" she asked. Naruto looked down on the ground and sighed. He then looked at Hinata. "Tell those who care for me to stay for a little while after everyone leave." He grinned. "Good night, Hinata," he said. "Good night, Naruto-kun." Naruto disappeared in a puff of smoke. "I can't believe it," Tsunade whispered. She was still there on the forest. As much as she wants to think about Naruto, there was still the child that stole the scroll. She turned around and faced the child tied to a tree. He was trying to escape. "Oi, Gaki," she called. The boy who was trying to escape stopped and stared at her. "Tell me your name," she said. "Yasuhiro Hidetada," the child whispered. "Well then, Hidetada, why did you steal the scroll?" she asked the boy. He looked down on the ground. Someone told me that I would get stronger when I steal it, and use it," he said. Tsunade sighed. "Do you know how dangerous the jutsus in here are?" she asked. Hidetada shook his head. "A small boy like you cannot handle all these," she said. The boy looked down again. I'm sorry," he whispered. "Who are this boy's parents?" she asked. "He is an orphan, Tsunade-sama," Iruka said. "Then he lives just like Naruto?" she asked. Someone takes care of him." Iruka paused. "Hyuga Hinata takes care of him and checks on him once in a while. She also supports his daily needs." "Ah, Hyuga Hinata?" Tsunade whispered. Are you going to do something to Hinata-ne because of me?" he asked. Tsunade and Iruka stared at the child in silence. "Please, don't do anything to her because of me. She didn't do anything. If you're going to punish her, punish me instead," he pleaded. Tsunade smiled. "I won't punish your Hinata-ne because of your bad deed." The boy's face lightened up. "But, you will still get punished," she added. The boy grinned. That's okay, as long as you don't punish Hinata-ne, he exclaimed. Tsunade faced Iruka. Untie the boy. His punishment is up to you since you are his sensei. I'm going back to the tower. Hi Hokage-sama, Iruka said. Shizune, let's go back. Tsunade said. Shizune took the scroll and they left the area. There was an awkward moment of silence as Iruka glared at the boy who was tied to a tree. The boy looked at him guiltily. Iruka-sensei, he said in a guilty tone. Iruka sighed and approached the boy. He stood a foot away from him. Before I untie you, promise me you'll stay put, he said in a low tone. The boy slowly nodded. Iruka untied him. You're lucky, Hyde-kun? The boy looked at him with a confused expression. What do you mean, Iruka-sensei? He asked. Iruka sighed. That scroll is forbidden, I'm sure you know what that means. He paused. The punishment that would be given to a shinobi who purposely steals it is very harsh. The boy looked down on the ground. This situation? Iruka groaned. He started to mumble things to himself. Hinata silently waited for his punishment. Minutes passed by while Iruka thought of the punishment. Hinata got bored. Anu? Iruka-sensei? He whispered. Iruka, who was still deep in thought, said, Nani? He asked. Who was that man? He asked. What man? Iruka asked. The one who caught me. Hinata said. Oh, him? Iruka scratched his cheek. He smiled in a warm manner. Why did you cry a while ago? He asked. Iruka laughed softly. Well, follow me, we're going to visit something. Iruka said. Hinata traced the engraved letters in the tombstone. Uzumaki, Naruto? He read. He then turned his and looked at Iruka as if he was waiting for Iruka to say something. Iruka looked at the tombstone quietly. Iruka-sensei? The boy asked. Iruka snapped out from whatever he was thinking of. He scratched his head and smiled at Hinata. I guess we had to take that down. Hinata questioned him by raising an eyebrow. That man who caught you. He is Uzumaki Naruto. Iruka said. Hinata looked confused. Eh? Iruka laughed at Hinata's cute and confused look. He ruffled the boy's black hair. You pick up things slow? He grinned. Hinata cocked his head sideward. That's why I said we have to take that down. He's alive and we don't need any tombstone for him if he's alive. He smiled. Oh. Hinata's voice trailed off. How did he die, then? He asked. Iruka sighed. That's confidential matter, deep stuff for a kid like you. He said. Is he a good ninja? Hinata asked. Iruka nodded. Well, I'm not so sure if he had gotten stronger. It's been a long time since I last saw him walking. He said. Pretty deep stuff. Hinata whispered as he read more of what was written on Naruto's tombstone. Iruka rubbed his chin. I almost forgot your punishment. Hinata lowered his head guiltily. Iruka shoved his hands in his pocket. Well, let's see, you stole the scroll of forbidden jutsus, because… He sighed. A stranger told you to steal it. You ran away from me when I noticed what you were doing. You were then caught by Naruto, you tried to escape but you were caught again. Iruka squatted beside Hinata. He faced the boy and looked at him in the eye. He grinned. I've decided what your punishment will be. He smirked at the boy. The sun was high up in the sky. Its heat scorched his skin. The boy wearing black soiled t-shirt and shorts gritted his teeth as he pulled out another weed from the soil. You'll weed the Hyuga clan's garden. Iruka said. Nani? Hinata exclaimed. But, that garden's so huge. He said. Iruka's smirk grew larger. He then sighed after he pulled a weed that had roots buried deeply on the ground. At least, if I'm lucky, I'll get to see Hinata-ne, he whispered to himself. His face brightened up with determination. He pulled up his sleeve. Yosh, I'll try and finish it quick. Naruto watched the kid from afar. Weeding? He asked. That's his punishment. He shook his head. They've grown softer. He sighed. They were way softer when you were a student. Kyuubi exclaimed. Naruto asked. Instead of getting a punishment, you even became a genin. Kyuubi hissed. My case was different, Naruto said. Topic closed. He added. Hinata raised his head. His face faltered when he saw that he was only able to weed just a small part of the garden. He started in the morning and it was already noon. So it was true, a female he knew said. He turned around and saw Hinata staring at him with eyebrows raised and her hands were placed on her hips. Hinata's sweat dropped. He grinned at Hinata. Hinata sighed. What has gotten in your head? Why did you try to steal the scroll? She asked. Hayata sweated more. He forced a laugh. I'm so screwed, he thought. Hinata nay is so angry. Stop grinning at me, young man, she said. That grin won't take you away from my wrath. She smirked at him. God help me, Hayata screamed in his mind. God, you sound like a mother Hinata, a man said. Hinata and Hayata turned their heads and they saw a hooded man standing near the shadows of the garden. Hinata smiled while Hayata only stared at the stranger. Nah, you, who are you? A man cut off Hinata. Hinata turned her head again and saw her cousin Neji charging towards Naruto. Naruto got into fighting stance instantly. He didn't want to hurt Neji though. Neji quickly reached for his kunai holster. He brought out his kunai and he charged at Naruto with it. Before Neji hit Naruto, Naruto pushed him. Neji opened his hand because of the impact and Naruto caught it quickly. Neji was thrown a step back. He closed his eyes and shook off the effects of the impact. The moment he opened his eyes, he saw fierce blue eyes and a kunai pointed at his head. Is it just me or you haven't been training that much? The fierce blue eyes were replaced by kind ones. Naruto flipped the kunai and caught it in its blade without cutting his fingers. He lowered it to Neji's chest with the handle facing him. Neji stared at the kunai. I don't need your kunai. I have lots of them, the man said. Neji took it and placed it back in his holster. Neji then looked at the hooded man. Who are you? Neji asked. He stared at the blue eyes he saw and he felt familiar with it. You're that Uzumaki guy, right? Hayata asked. Naruto slightly turned to face the boy with soiled clothes. Neji laughed sarcastically. What are you saying? The only Uzumaki I know is dead. He hissed. Got up on the wrong side of the bed, Neji? The man asked. Neji's eye twitched. Hinata-sama, do you know this man? He asked. Yeah, Hinata said with a sweet voice that erased all tension in the garden. Neji's eyes widened as the man removed his hood. No, it can't be. He whispered. His mouth was wide opened. Hey, I know what you're thinking. It's hard to believe because you saw me at my coffin lifeless. Naruto said. How? Neji was only able to say that. Naruto sighed. He'd have to tell his whole story to make things clear. Saying it once before everyone would make it easier and faster. I'll tell you when everyone else is here, he said. Neji just stared at him dumbfounded. His once white cold eyes that he wore when he charged at Naruto changed into kind and warm ones. Welcome back, he said. Naruto smiled and he offered his hand. Neji took it and shook it. You have grown stronger? Neji said with a smile. 10 years can do a lot, Naruto said. Neji then turned around to face Hinata and Hayata. What's the kid doing here? He asked, pointing his fingers at the boy. Hayata's purple eyes twitched. He never liked Neji anyway. For him, Neji was an arrogant and cold man. But what was before him puzzled him. He seemed pretty kind towards Naruto. He opened his mouth to say something but Hinata placed her hand in his shoulder to calm him. She knew that he didn't like Neji much. It's his punishment, she said. Neji smirked at the boy. Punishment? He laughed sarcastically again. Why did he do something wrong again? He asked. Hayata clenched his fist. He cursed Neji and Neji's arrogance inside his mind. Don't be so hard on the boy, he said. Neji looked at Naruto. You don't know how much trouble that boy brings to the Hyuga name. Naruto shifted his attention to the boy. He's a troublesome kid, eh? He asked. More troublesome than you. Neji crossed his arms. Naruto laughed at Neji's comment. You were always Konoha's loudest ninja? Neji paused. Naruto grinned and scratched his cheek. But still, you have better eyes than mine, Neji added. Naruto's grin became a warm and true smile. Anyway, your father wants to talk to you, Hinata-sama. He says it is a matter regarding. He shot a glance at the boy. Lord Hayata, he said it mockingly. Hayata fumed with anger. A Tucson? A small girl said. Naruto searched for the girl and saw her standing by the house's entrance. She was a girl at the age of 3. She was wearing a kimono. Her hair was tied in a bun. Her white eyes glimmered with happiness. At the corner of his eye, Naruto saw Neji smiling sweetly at the girl. Nami-chan, you wandered around again? Neji asked and approached the girl. Hi, a Tucson? The girl replied with a cute voice. Neji lifted her up and took the girl in his arms. Neji? Naruto called out. Neji looked at him. Is she your daughter? He asked. Neji nodded. Anyway, don't tell anyone about me, I'll tell them myself. He said, Naruto, make sure that that kid stays put. Don't let him do anything that would put Hinata-sama's name in trouble, again. He then entered the Hyuga main house. There was silence as Neji left. When he was out of sight, the boy groaned. Why does he hate me so much? He asked. Naruto patted the boy in the head. He likes to play cold and arrogant, he said. Hinata sighed. He then smiled at Naruto. Father, Hinata whispered as she slid the door open gently. She saw her father arranging his robe. He turned around and looked at her. He looked angry. It must be one of those days that he had a bad dream, Hinata joked inside her mind. Hinata? His firm voice brought her mind back to the world. What is it, father? She asked. Hiyashi sat at the tatami and Hinata sat across him. I know that someone has already told you, he said as he closed his eyes. Hinata stayed silent. The matter regarding the boy, Yasuhiro Hinata? Am I right? He opened his eyes. Hi, Hinata replied. That boy has already brought the name of our clan too much trouble. He sighed. And last night, he stole the scroll of forbidden jutsus. I am actually surprised that Tsunade-sama let him have a light punishment. He should have had a harsher one, he suggested. But then, I trust the Hokage's judgment. He stood up and approached the window. Hinata's eyes followed him. He opened the window and fresh air filled the room. What are you trying to say, father? Hinata asked. Hinata, my daughter? He turned and faced her. You cannot take him under your wing anymore, he said firmly. The boy smiled at him. Is that so, Naruto-san? He grinned. I would like to talk to you much longer, but I'm sure you can see that I really have a lot of work to do, he said. Don't overwork yourself, Naruto said. But father, Hinata said. Hinata, as I have said, that child has already brought too much trouble to this clan's name. I don't know why, but trouble seems to always follow that child, he said. Hinata looked down at the ground. She bit her lower lip. The shy Hinata was coming back. Starting today, you'll have more obligations, more responsibilities, Hiyashi said. Anytime now, she would start twiddling her index fingers. She took a deep breath and pulled herself together. Sooner or later, father, I will have to face this responsibility when I have a child, she said. He sighed. Yes, I agree, but having your own child is a different matter. By that time, you'll have your husband who shall help you in taking care of him. Your husband shall share the responsibility of taking care of your child with you. And my daughter, you have no husband yet. And Yasuhiro Hinata is not your child. He pointed out the fact. Hinata sighed in defeat. She did not win this round. Father, at least, let me take care of him until I find someone who shall replace me, she said. Hiyashi looked at her silently. All right, he said, but when you find someone, he shall not be your responsibility anymore, he said. Hinata raised her head to meet her father's eye. I can still be friends with him, right? She asked. Hiyashi smiled. You have to get going now, it's already noon and the party is at the afternoon. The maids have told me you have not eaten yet. A Hyuga head must not overlook her health, he said. Hinata smiled at him. She bowed down. Hi, father, she said. Naruto sat on a patch of grass hidden by the big tree's shadow. He watched the boy as he weeded the garden. He wanted to help the boy, but this wasn't his punishment after all, and besides, he needed to think of what he's going to say later. Naruto sighed and he continued to observe the boy. Hinata reminded him so much of Yoshi, a boy he met back then, the one that lied dead on the ground that night. He clenched his fist and punched the ground. He promised himself one more time that he'll get that bastard who sent his pawns to kill the innocent boy. Hinata shifted and saw Naruto's look. He shivered. Naruto looked like he was ready to kill someone. Naruto's blue eyes were full of anger and hate. Naruto looked up. Hinata dropped the pile of weeds he gathered in his hand. What's wrong? Naruto asked. Hinata shook his head. Hey, Naruto-san, he whispered. What is it? Naruto asked as he put his hands at the back of his head. He lied down and closed his eyes. Anu? Hinata took one deep breath. Are you happy? Hinata asked. Happy about what? Naruto asked. Are you happy that you're still alive? Hinata asked. Naruto sighed. He muttered. I think I'm better off dead, he said. Hinata gathered the weeds back in his hands and he threw it in a bag. Why? He asked. This second life of mine has brought me more pain and suffering. He opened his eyes and stared at the calm blue sky. Hinata was puzzled. He just recalled the picture that his Hinata-ne showed him once. It was a picture of Iruka-sensei class. Naruto was there with a big grin on his face. He said to himself, I wonder what happened to him. I could really tell by that picture that he was happy. Naruto stayed silent. Hidetada pulled more weeds. At least, Hidetada whispered. Naruto sat up and looked at the boy. You made someone happy? He smiled. Who did I make happy by being alive? Naruto asked. Hokage-sama, Iruka-sensei, Neji-san. Hidetada enumerated. And last but not the least, my Hinata-ne. He grinned at Naruto. The way I see it, she likes you. He said in his mind. Naruto smiled. Hidetada was right. At least he made someone happy. Hey kid, Hidetada looked at him. You haven't told me your name yet. He reminded. Ah, I'm very sorry. He said. I'm Yasuhiro Hidetada. You can call me Hide for short. He grinned at Naruto. Grr, what was that? Hidetada asked. Naruto raised his hand and scratched his head. That was my stomach? He laughed. Hidetada laughed with him. Looks like both of you are having fun. A female said. It was Hinata. Hidetada stopped laughing when he heard her voice. He turned around slowly to face Hinata. Did your father do something bad to you? He asked. Hinata closed her eyes. Well, he didn't. She said. Sorry. Hidetada said. For what I did last night. Hinata approached him and ruffled his black spiky hair. That's all right, Hide-kun, we're only human. She smiled warmly at him. Naruto stood up from the patch of grass. He caught the attention of the two. Are you going already, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Naruto patted his stomach. I'm afraid I need to eat. He said. Hinata just stood there. She was planning a short picnic with Hidetada, but looks like shy Hinata did come back. She wanted to invite him to the picnic. Oh. She was only able to say that and she cursed herself inwardly. Hidetada saw the look on her face. He knew she wanted to say something to Naruto. He smirked and pushed Hinata a step forward. Go tell him whatever you going to, Hinata-ne. He whispered at Hinata. Hinata raised an eyebrow at Hidetada. Seems like he did notice what she felt for Naruto. See you, Naruto-kun. She cut him off. What? He asked. Would you like to join us? We're going for a picnic? She said. Sure, he answered. Hinata smiled. Hide-kun. You should go home and take a shower and change your clothes. She said. But, I'm still doing my punishment. Hidetada said. Hinata smiled at him. Don't worry, if Iruka-sensei asks where you've been, I'll tell him that you had your lunch break with me. She said. Hinata is good, Naruto thought after he finished his lunch. He certainly liked her cooking. They were near the training grounds. A forest that grew thicker surrounded the clearing where their picnic was held. Naruto smiled as he watched Hidetada play in the fields. He's still a kid, Naruto said. What? She asked while she put away the plates. She stopped and looked at Naruto. Naruto pointed his finger at Hidetada. Hinata smiled. Hidetada was now chasing butterflies. She giggled. He just 11, she whispered. There was silence for a moment. Where are his parents? Naruto broke the silence. Hinata closed the picnic basket. She sighed. They're gone. Naruto suddenly recalled all the loneliness he felt when he was just a child. How did you meet him? He asked. I was from the Hokage Tower. I just submitted my report to Hokage-sama. It then suddenly rained when I was on my way home. I picked up my pace and bumped into him. He was crying, his clothes were torn and soiled. I think he was just at the age of 5 by that time and I was 17. I took him home. I bought him new clothes. I became fond of him and we became friends. She said. Tell me more. Naruto urged her to tell him more. He stayed at my house for a year but father bought him an apartment the year after we met so he moved away. I still had contact with him but I became busier that year so I wasn't able to see him often. I was just able to send him what he needed. She paused. Maybe, he became lonely that time, that's why he became Mr. Trouble. He's lucky, Naruto said. What do you mean? I mean, the both of you act as though you're really tied by blood. An orphan would be lucky to find someone like that. He smiled. Hinata looked down on the ground. She looked like the weight of the world suddenly fell on her shoulders. What's wrong? Naruto asked after a short moment of observing her. It's just, She sighed and rubbed the back of her neck. Luck won't last anymore. She stated slowly. Naruto just looked at her in a manner that his was urging her to explain. Father said, He said that I cannot take him under my wing anymore. She paused. He said that trouble always follows Hyde-kun, and he would only bring problems to us. Who would take care of him then? Naruto asked. I don't know. Hinata raised her head. Can you take care of him? Naruto stopped speaking. His expression changed into a serious one. He moved his head around slowly to scan the environment. Hinata, who was alarmed by his cautious behavior, had proceeded to scan the surroundings herself. She was now facing Naruto with her back. Naruto, on the other hand, seized this chance to use his enhanced sight. His blue eyes now had vertical slits. Is there something wrong? Hinata asked in a whisper that only Naruto could hear. Just keep quiet, he replied. Hey, Hinata nay, Hyde-tada shouted after a couple minutes of scanning the area passed. He got Naruto and Hinata's attention quickly. Hyde-tada was running towards them. His hands were clasped in a way like he was holding inside it. His smile reached his ears and his eyes were filled with mirth. Hyde-tada laughed in a jolly way. The clearing was filled with the sound of a child laughing. Suddenly there was a flash of blinding light. Both Naruto and Hinata closed their eyes. When they opened their eyes, they saw Hyde-tada fall to his knees. He coughed out blood and this alarmed Naruto and Hinata. They stood up and rushed by his side. Hyde-tada fell in Hinata's arms. Hinata cried when she saw the deep wound in his chest. The boy became weak and he eventually opened his clasped hands. A beautiful butterfly with splendid colors in its wings flew out of Hyde-tada's hand. Naruto watched the butterfly as it flew away. Memories of a bloody night flooded his mind. He closed his eyes and opened it only to be greeted with the sight of a bloodier Hyde-tada. More and more pictures of a room stained with an innocent boy's blood filled his mind. It was a nightmare for him. Naruto couldn't take it anymore. They had killed an innocent boy before and now another. He clenched his fist and punched the ground. Hinata, who had started healing Hyde-tada's wound, was startled by Naruto's action. Naruto was able to make a small crater in the ground with his fist. Shift, Naruto heard in the clump of trees behind him. He enhanced his hearing and heard someone's heartbeat. Bull's eye, someone was hiding there. Hinata, stay here, he whispered at him. In a blink of an eye, he disappeared. The ninja who was hiding in the trees was alarmed. The blonde man suddenly disappeared. His boss told him to stay away from the blonde man because that man was very strong. He stepped backward. Crack. Damn, I stepped it up. He was startled. Someone had grabbed him by the neck tightly. Who the hell are you? He asked. He struggled to get free from the person's grapple. Your greatest nightmare? The one who grappled him down said with a cold voice. Greatest nightmare my ass. You should be dead, Uzumaki Naruto. He retorted. Naruto squeezed his neck. Why were you after the kid? Naruto asked. He squeezed the man's neck more. Arg, you're not going to get any answers from me, he exclaimed while he tried to break free from Naruto again. Naruto recalled that he had no time to waste. He grabbed a needle with a sleeping fluid and he decided to let the intruded have a taste of it. Fine, if that suits you, I'll let Ibiki take care of you then, he said with sarcasm in his voice. Hinata sighed with relief. He was able to close Hyde-tada's wound, but it seems he had lost a lot of blood in just a short time because of the severe wound he accumulated from the unknown attacker. Hinata? The cold voice made Hinata jump. Her heartbeat skipped a beat when she saw how cold Naruto looked. It was the way he looked when she saw him in the graveyard. How is he? He asked. Though there was coldness in his expression, the concern was evident in his voice. I have closed his wounds. Hinata whispered the answer. She felt weak since she used too much chakra to heal Hyde-tada. But, he still needs treatment, Naruto-kun, she said. She noticed that Naruto was carrying a man that was smaller than him. The man was masked and he wore dark robes. Is he that one who attacked Hyde-kun? She asked. Naruto merely nodded. Hinata tried to stand but her knees felt weak because of the small stamina left in her. Naruto assisted her. Are you okay? He asked. This time, the cold look was wiped away from his face. Hinata nodded and said, Don't worry, I just used too much chakra. She said. Here, Naruto took out a pill from his pouch and he gave it to Hinata. Take it, it will recover some chakra. Hinata nodded and swallowed the pill. Naruto on the other hand, picked up Hyde-tada and he slung the boy's body gently at his shoulders. Hinata looked up at Naruto and it seemed he had no difficulty in carrying two people but still, I could carry Hidetada if you're having a hard time. She offered him since she felt that she had recovered some chakra. Naruto shook his head. No, I can manage. He stated. Where does Tsunade usually hang out? He asked Hinata. She's usually at the hospital before evening. Hinata then shifted her attention to the picnic basket and the blanket. Someone still has to carry it back to her house. I'll go to the hospital and you should take that back home. He said. But, I want to come with you. Hinata said. Iruka-sensei will come by your house to see if Hyde is doing his work. I'm pretty sure he'll drop by. You should take that home and wait for him or go find him and tell him what happened. I'll take care of him, don't worry. Naruto said. Hinata dropped her head. Oh okay, she said, but the others might see you, is that okay? She asked. I don't care if they see me or not, Hyde is more important now. Naruto said. I don't want to see another kid die. He added in a whisper that Hinata didn't catch. Naruto disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto-kun, Hinata said, and after a short moment, she placed the other things inside the picnic basket and she took it home. Iruka stared at the garden in an irritated manner. He had his arms crossed and he was pouting. Where's Hyde? He asked. I can't believe he still had the guts to escape from his punishment. He added. He was there for a long time now and it seemed Hinata wasn't there too. Hiyashi didn't know Hyde's whereabouts and he also found out about the fact that Hinata couldn't take care of Hidetada anymore. Neji was not home because he had attended a meeting. The other Hyuga clan members can't tell a thing about where Hidetada went. Hidetada will regret what he did. When I see that kid, Iruka-sensei, Hinata called out. She has just gotten home and a Hyuga clan member has told her that someone was looking for her and that someone was waiting for her at the garden. It turned out that someone was Iruka, the person she was expecting to see by the time she went home. Hinata-sama, Iruka said. Where's Hyde-kun? He asked in a hurry. Hinata turned pale. She opened her mouth to speak but no words came out. Is there something wrong? Iruka asked her and she nodded. Iruka-sensei, Hyde-kun, is Henge no Jutsu, Naruto whispered and turned into Iruka. It seems that he wasn't ready to make himself known yet. He picked up Hidetada and the other man from the seat and went to the emergency room. He stopped when he saw his ex-teammate, Haruno Sakura. She was pretty busy. There was a sudden rush inside the hospital again. Sakura gave out a few orders to the medic nins and she turned her head. Her eyes widened when she saw Iruka. Iruka-sensei, what happened to Hyde-kun? She asked after she approached him. Why is his clothes soaked in blood? Did he go through a very strenuous training session? If so, why didn't you supervise him? She bombarded him with questions while she checked Hyde's health. He was attacked by this man. He laid the man at an empty stretcher. He won't tell me anything, so I think Ibiki needs to squeeze out certain information from this usurper. He said. As for Hyde-kun, he needs to medication as soon as possible. He lost quite an amount of blood. He added while he laid down Hidetada on another empty stretcher. And he wasn't training. Sakura called some medic nins and the usurper was taken out of the hospital and was sent to Ibiki's office. Attacked? Iruka exclaimed. Where is he? He asked. Hinata had just told him the whole story. Naruto-kun took him already to the hospital. Hinata said. Naruto? Wouldn't that be endangering his long-kept secret? He asked. He said he didn't care. Iruka stared at the ground for a moment like he was sorting out things inside his mind. Iruka-sensei, sorry, he whispered. What are we waiting for? Let's go to the hospital right now. Ibiki-san, Ibiki-san. Some nin knocked at Ibiki's door. Ibiki looked away from the psychology book he was reading and said, come in. A Chunin-ranked ninja who was one of Ibiki's helpers entered his office with an alarmed expression. Ibiki was already looking at his book when he asked, what's the matter? Sir, a nin who is in our bingo book has been sent here. They said Iruka-san was the one who caught him. They also told us that Iruka wants you to get some information from him because he wasn't able to make him talk. The Chunin said after catching his breath. Ibiki closed the book and looked at the Chunin. Tell me all the information you have on that ninja. Ibiki ordered while he stood up. He placed the book back on the shelf in his office. The Chunin cleared his throat. Well sir, his name is Funikoshi Shin though he is called Zetsume. He is a B-rank missing nin in the bingo book. He has been unseen for the past 10 years. Rumor has it that he has joined the sound during that 10-year period. He is an assassin, Ibiki-san. According to the bingo book, he has assassinated quite a few influential people. The Chunin said. I assume he was here to assassinate someone. Am I right? Ibiki asked. In fact, sir, he did try to kill a boy. A boy? Who is this boy? Ibiki approached the door of his office. The boy's name is Yasuhiro Hidetada. He is an orphan, but Hyuga Hinata takes care of him. He is an ordinary boy studying at the academy. Ibiki opened the door. I see. Show me where the assassin is. He ordered. Hi. Naruto, who was still under a high-class henge, sat fidgeted at his seat, showing his impatience. His face was marked with worry for the poor boy. He then stared blankly at the wall. He wondered why Hidetada was attacked. He gritted his teeth in annoyance when he was unable to answer his own question. He then thought back to the other boy who he met years ago. He was now thinking of the boy that he saw lying in a pool of blood. He wiped away the sweat in his face. While he did, his hands trembled because of the memory he was recalling. 5 years ago, 17-year-old Uzumaki Naruto sat at a boulder. He laid his bag gently and he massaged his shoulder. He has been traveling for quite a long time now. He opened his bag and snatched an apple from it. He wiped it with a clean cloth and took a bite from it. He then looked at the road before him. He was getting nearer and nearer to the snow. The wind was very cold. He shivered when it passed him. He then looked at his clothes and he made a mental note that he should buy more suitable clothes for the snow's climate. While he chewed a piece of the apple, he looked around and saw a small cottage. Smoke rose up from the cottage's chimney. Naruto assumed that someone was home. He stood from his seat and made his way to the cottage. He wanted to ask whether there were other villages near. Night was coming and he had nowhere to stay. After a few minutes, he reached the cottage. While he was outside, he heard a woman speaking and a small boy laughing. He then knocked at the door. "Anu?" he said. A man at his 30s opened the door. The man smiled at Naruto. "What do you need, young man?" he asked. Naruto smiled. "Can I ask something?" The man continued to smile. "You're already asking?" Naruto chuckled. "Is there a nearby village here before I reach the snow?" he asked. The man scratched his head. "The next village is still far and it's already situated near the snow. There is currently a snowstorm there, so I suggest you postpone your journey for a while." The man said. "I see," Naruto whispered, and he looked at the orange clouds. The sun was setting. If he chose to come back to the village he recently visited, he would probably reach it late at night. He sighed. "Do you have any problems, young man?" The man who seemed to be the patriarch of the small home asked. Naruto shook his head. "My problem will only bother your home," he said. The man laughed. "I am guessing you need to stay somewhere for the night." Naruto raised an eyebrow. "Yes, you are correct. I do need to stay somewhere. It's too cold outside and the wind is strong at night, so the fire I will make would probably die immediately." The woman in the small cottage approached the both of them. She was being followed by a small boy. "The climate here can get pretty harsh sometimes. You will only get a cold or something if you stay outside." She nudged the man with her elbow. "We have some room to spare for the night, you can stay here." Since then he had been acquainted with the small family living in that hut. He never knew that the boy would have some impact on his life. After his trip to the snow, Naruto dropped by on the small cottage again. With a smile on his face, he knocked at the door. The man opened the door and greeted Naruto with a jolly expression. "Ah, it is you again." The man smiled. Just then, Naruto overheard the announcement at the radio. "Attention all residents of the snow and its neighboring villagers. A harsh snowstorm is expected a week from now." "Oh my," Naruto heard the woman say. The man shook his head. "What's wrong, mama?" Naruto heard the boy ask. The patriarch of the hut scratched his head and forced out a laugh. "You see, Naruto-san, we have a small problem." He forced another laugh. Naruto smiled in a reassuring manner. "I see, Arinori-san, what is it?" he asked. "Well, the man refused his help, but he helped even though they refused. He fixed their roof, walls and some other stuff using some of his ninja skills. One day, chalk, Naruto flipped the kunai in his hands. He sent it flying in the air and in a few seconds it hit the tree. He was about to continue kunai practice, but he heard a few movements. He turned around with a kunai in hand, hoping to frighten the stranger that is walking towards him. His eyes widened when he saw the Yoshi-kun. It was no stranger at all. Naruto Nichan. It had been a year since he met the Hishikawa family and he hasn't left that place for a year too. What are you doing? The 6-year-old boy asked and tugged at his jacket. I'm practicing, Naruto said plainly, but he grinned at Yoshi. Yoshi pointed his finger at Naruto's kunai. What's that? Naruto carefully lowered to kunai so Yoshi will see it more quickly. This is a kunai, he answered. Yoshi's eyes were filled with interest. He tried to take the kunai but Naruto didn't allow him to take it. Yoshi pouted. I want to hold it, he said. Naruto shook his head. No, you cannot touch this. He placed the kunai inside his pouch. Why so? The small boy tugged at his jacket. You can't touch it because it's a deadly weapon. He removed the small boy's hands from his jacket. Your father would kill me if he sees with it. Yoshi grinned. Don't worry Naruto-nichan, I'm pretty sure dad couldn't even touch you with a finger. Naruto raised his eyebrow. Anu, you see? The boy's eyes were filled with excitement. I think you're a very strong person. Father even called you, what was that? Do you mean a shinobi? Naruto asked. Yes, that's it. The boy smiled widely. Naruto ruffled the boy's black hair. I was a shinobi, you can't fool me, the boy exclaimed. It's the truth, I'm not a shinobi anymore. Naruto insisted. Then why are you doing shinobi stuff? Yoshi pointed at Naruto accusingly. Naruto crossed his arms. I'm just making sure I still know how to use a kunai, it's a way of self-defense. Then why? Topic closed. Naruto cut the boy off. Yoshi-kun? Yoshi's mother called. Go inside now, your mother is calling you. Naruto grinned. Yoshi pouted and looked irritated. After that day, Yoshi pestered Naruto into teaching him some ninja skills. Day after day, Naruto refused. Please, Yoshi pleaded. No, Naruto said flatly. Come on, please teach me, Hinata said. No, Naruto repeated. Please, I promise I will tell mom to cook 10 bowls of ramen tonight. Yoshi said. Ramen? Naruto looked like he was thinking. He sat down under the tree's shade. No, he repeated again. Why do you always say, no? Yoshi asked. I have said, no, once. I'm not going to take it back, that's my nindo. He said the last part almost in a whisper. Yoshi grinned. He tried to pull Naruto up. Naruto stayed seated. I'm not in a mood to play, Yoshi-kun. Naruto said in a tired tone. Yoshi let go of him. Fine, he gave up, but promise me. Promise you what? Naruto asked. Promise me you'll watch. Naruto stared at Yoshi with a confused face. Watch what? He asked. This. Yoshi faced a tree and he took out a cloth that seems to have something inside it from his pocket. When he removed the cloth, Naruto saw a kunai that seemed to be new. Yoshi was now facing the tree that Naruto uses as his target. He threw the kunai and missed the center by a few inches. What the? Naruto's jaw dropped. Where did you get that kunai? He asked. Yoshi faced Naruto and grinned again. I found it inside the house's storage room. Naruto stood up in an abrupt manner and he stomped his way towards Yoshi. You shouldn't be playing around with a thing like this. Naruto scolded him. Yoshi lowered his head in guilt while Naruto scolded him. When Naruto saw what Yoshi looked like, he piped down and sighed. Listen Yoshi-kun. As I have said before, a kunai is a deadly weapon. What if you get hurt in the process? Naruto asked. Yoshi looked up at him. Naruto sighed. It's okay, as long as you tell your father and mother what you did. And Yoshi did tell his parents. That night, Hanako, Yoshi's mother, stared at her sleeping son. She placed a light kiss on Yoshi's forehead. She carefully removed Yoshi's hand that was holding on to her kimono. Yoshi's father silently stared at them. He was holding a coin that seemed to be very peculiar. He flipped it after and managed to catch it. Hanako stood up from Yoshi's bed. I didn't know he would discover that kunai, she whispered. Aranori shifted his gaze towards his wife. Nothing is certain in this world, Hanako-chan. We didn't even know that he would come in alive, a special child like him. He placed the coin in his pocket. Yes, Hanako agreed. Aranori-kun. I believe we should tell the truth to Naruto-kun, she suggested. Aranori raised an eyebrows and he scratched his head. Do you think so? He asked. He looked at Yoshi with his dark brown eyes and he combed his medium-length hair back. Naruto is a person we could trust. He did tell us he is from the leaf, she said. What does the leaf have to do with this? Aranori asked. The leaf wasn't informed of the ordeal that happened. Hanako reminded her husband. It would be better if we would tell him then. Aranori said. Tell me what? Naruto appeared outside the door of Yoshi's room. Aranori left it open. Iruka-sensei. Aranori and Hanako turned serious. Let's talk about it outside. Iruka-sensei. Naruto's eyes shot open. Sakura was standing before him. Are you okay? Sakura asked in a worried tone. Naruto looked up and nodded. I was just thinking, how's Hyde? He asked. Sakura smiled. He's okay now. Naruto smiled and stood up. I leave him here then, I have to go somewhere. He said. I see, don't overwork, Iruka-sensei. Sakura said. Naruto smiled. Don't worry, I won't. He walked away. It was a very dark room. A single bulb was illuminating a certain part of the room. It was illuminating the part where a bloody man sat. He was chained. Are you ready to speak? Ibiki asked. The man weakly raised his head. He glared at Ibiki. No. Ibiki sighed. As you wish, I will continue to torture you. He smirked to intimidate the foe. The man spat out blood. Bring it on, he said weakly. Ibiki summoned a medic nin. You go and heal him, he said at the nin. He cannot die yet. Ibiki added. Are you insane? The enemy smirked while the medic nin healed him. Why do you heal me? So you won't die? Ibiki said flatly. So I can torture you more. Naruto hurried to leave the hospital. He wanted to check Ibiki's progress and inform the real Iruka about what happened. He was still in a henge. When he reached the corner he was supposed to take, he bumped into a man. The man who turned out to be Iruka blinked a few times and stared at him with wide eyes. Behind him, Hinata followed closely. Who the hell are you? Iruka asked. Naruto stood up. Why are you impersonating me? Iruka asked. Naruto-kun, Hinata said. What? Iruka asked. Naruto? Is that you, Naruto? He asked. Naruto removed his henge. As the smoke cleared out he said, yes, it is me. How is Hyde-kun? Iruka asked. Naruto smiled. He is already fine. Both Iruka and Hinata sighed. Why aren't you with him? Hinata asked. I was on my way to tell Iruka-sensei. It would be weird if Iruka-sensei was there but didn't know who Hyde is. True, Iruka shook off some dust from his past. What room is he in? Hinata asked. He is in room 214. I think Sakura is still there. He said. Hinata, let's go. Iruka said. You go ahead, Iruka-sensei. I need to talk to Naruto-kun first. Hinata said. Iruka walked away. Naruto-kun, what's the matter? Naruto asked. Why were you in a henge? She asked. Naruto removed his hood and then scratched his cheek. Cold feet. Hinata smiled. You're not ready yet, are you? She asked. Well, Naruto looked away. I see it in your eyes. Hinata teased him. I see it in your every gesture. Hinata continued. Naruto smiled and chuckled. I wonder how long you train with Neji. Why? Hinata cocked her head sideways. Because you sound like Neji. He smiled. Hinata giggled. I was only playing around, Naruto-kun. Is that so? Hinata then smiled sweetly. Hey, well, you're right, I am not ready yet. He looked up at the ceiling. You're not ready to tell Sakura-san, yet? She asked. Why do you ask? Naruto wondered. Hinata blushed. I just want to know. Naruto smiled at Hinata. Don't worry, I won't get angry. Hinata sighed. I'm just curious, Naruto-kun. She's the only one you had cold feet with. Naruto laughed softly. Your cases were different, he assured Hinata with another heartwarming smile. You found me by accident, 2 times. Neji's case is somewhat similar to yours. Iruka-sensei and Tsunade needed to know before anyone else, so I told them already. He explained. I see, and besides, I haven't even fulfilled my promise to her. I have no face to show. His eyes darkened. Hinata patted his shoulder. Naruto looked at her curiously. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. You can show your face now. Huh? Sakura-san doesn't care if you broke your promise. The past is the past, she said to me once. She told me that what happened cannot be changed anymore, so she has to live with it. And don't forget that she's not only your teammate but she's also your friend. She said. Naruto shoved his hands in his pocket. He smiled. Silence filled the hallway as Ibiki went out of the torture room. Ibiki-sama, a Chunin said. Did he tell something? Ibiki nodded. Do you know where Godem-sama is? Yes, she's at her office, sir. Good, Ibiki whispered. I have some good and bad news. Ibiki thought as he made his way out the building. That's the end of the mission report. Here is the written version. Kakashi placed a scroll on Tsunade's desk. The small cup of sake left Tsunade's lips. Good work, Kakashi. Kakashi bowed his head. If you permit, Tsunade-sama, I have to leave now. I have a business to attend to. He said in a plain voice. No, you cannot leave yet. Tsunade placed the cup of sake in her desk. I have something to tell you, something that is very serious. She said. Kakashi wondered what that matter was. Kakashi, someone was knocking at the door. Tsunade-sama, it was Ibiki. I have urgent news. He opened the door. Once he was near Tsunade, he bowed as sign of respect. Tsunade looked at Kakashi. I'll tell you after Ibiki tells me the urgent news. She turned her head towards Ibiki. What is it? After lunch today, a nin listed in our bingo book has been sent to our HQ. That nin was sent under our investigation and he has fortunately given up. I have obtained valuable information from him, good and bad. Ibiki said. Tell me the news. Tsunade drank another shot of sake. Iruka was facing a chunin at Ibiki's office. Where's Ibiki-san? He asked. He's not here. The chunin who was busy writing something at a scroll said. Where is he then? Iruka crossed his arms. He went to Godem-sama's office. The chunin answered. Thank you for telling me. Iruka left. Hinata grabbed Iruka into the alley. So, what happened? She asked. Iruka was suddenly engulfed in smoke. He is. The smoke slowly cleared out. At Tsunade's office, Iruka's voice changed. The smoke finally cleared out. Naruto was revealed. It seems Ibiki-san succeeded. He added. Let's go. Hinata said. You should go back. You still have something to do later. Naruto suggested. But, I want to find out those things too. I will tell you later. He quickly answered. There was silence. They both stared at one another. Okay. Hinata broke the silence. The good news, the nin has confirmed that the sound is plotting against us again. According to him, Orochimaru isn't the one that's leading them. Ibiki turned pale. Tsunade raised an eyebrow. Ibiki felt his throat tighten. He cleared his throat. He said, Uchiha Sasuke is the one. Both Tsunade and Kakashi had their eyes wide open.
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.